Welcome to Climate Quickies, bite-sized nuggets of climate goodness from our TEDxLondon experts in under 5 minutes.
In this week's Climate Quickie, we're learning about one fashion strategy that, if we all applied, would go a long way in reducing the environmental impact of the fashion industry. And the stakes are pretty high with this one. If the fashion industry were a country, it would rank third for carbon emissions, after China and the United States. So whether you wear Prada or Primark, there's one action we can all do today that's totally free that can make a positive change. We spoke to Amy Powney, a fashion designer and the creative director at Mother of Pearl, to learn more. And remember, stay curious.
I'm Amy Powney. I'm the creative director of Mother of Pearl, which is a fashion brand in London. One of the points I'm trying to get across is that clothes originate from natural resources. That could be fossil fuels, it could be agriculture, trees, worms, sheep. And a lot of people don't understand that or don't know that. And when it comes to polyester and synthetics, they're fossil fuels. Polyester is crude oil, which is the same fuel you put in your car. So my number one rule when it comes to sustainable buying, the first things first, is just make sure you absolutely love it and you're going to wear it, because the supply chains are really complicated, and I'll give you a bit of a debrief today. But the truth is, shopping less, buying better, but mostly just buying what you love is the number one rule, I always say. Then in terms of buying better and supply chains, as a sort of general rule, if it's a natural fibre like cotton or linen, then trying to buy it organically is really important. You have to kind of think about it the same way your food is grown. So cotton is agriculture. It's filled with pesticides at the farming stage. So you want to make it organic for the sake of the land. If you're buying polyester or a synthetic fibre, buying recycled is better. Those three, cupro, lyocell and viscose, all come from trees. So you want to make sure that it's deforestation free. And when you think about that, just kind of imagine like FSC certified paper. So you know when you buy paper and you make sure it's recycled, you just want the same thing for your cellulose garment. They're the three things I'd say to look out for. So greenwashing is rife. And I feel very sorry for everybody out there, because supply chains are complicated. And when people make stamps of kind of, what's the right word? When people make claims that they've done something correctly, how can you know when to believe it and when not to believe it? So the statistic is, in the past 4 years, the number of clothes described as sustainable has quadrupled. And we know for sure that doesn't mean that. And the only thing I can tell you to do is check labels. And if people are claiming to be something, so if it's claiming to be sustainable cotton, for instance, check the label. If it's certified organic, then you kind of maybe know it's a bit better. If they're claiming that it's a sustainable synthetic, is it recycled? And if they're claiming that it's a sustainable lyocell or viscose, is it deforestation free? They're the kind of things you need to look out for. But the really complicated part is when it's blended. So I'm talking about 100% something. So often what people also do, or what brands should I say often do, is call it sustainable, because it might have 5%, let's say tencel, or 5% organic cotton in it, but it could have 95%, let's say virgin polyester in it. So just look at the labels, try and do a little bit of research. You can kind of get the basics and inform yourself a bit more. But basically, in essence, if it's a big corporation, if it's a big brand, and really if it's any brand, don't trust it, look at the label yourself. And I also always tell people to kind of follow them on social media or sign up to their marketing, because actually for us, for instance, our communication is two-part. It is, here's our product, but here's our story. And we continually talk about the two things, ethics and aesthetics, hand in hand. We do that regularly. So if you find that there's a company that you follow have just given you a little burst or a little moment of something, the chances are it's just a marketing capsule, and what they're doing for the most part isn't good. So kind of see if it's built into their DNA or not. So in my talk today, my conclusion was, my ask of everybody in the room and everybody listening is that next time you look into your wardrobe, instead of seeing clothes, brands, logos, and maybe your favourite dress, dig a little bit deeper to Narnia and instead see the vast and unique ecosystem that makes each piece individual and its inherent connection with the planet on which all of our lives depend. We love to talk about diversity, inclusivity, positivity and empowerment and feminism. They're words that are used a lot, and they're often attached to a celebrity or an influencer or a figure wearing the brand's clothes. But we don't talk about the women that actually make them. So I would say it isn't feminism when we support one woman but not all the women in the chain. The statistics are there's 3.4 billion people that work in the industry, and 70% of them are women. And many of those people that make our clothes are not paid a living wage, and they're not even noticed. And my quote today was, they are treated the same way as your polyester dress, disposable and cheap. The only thing that is cheaper today than it has ever been in history is clothes. Yeah, and when you think about the rise of inflation and how much everything's gone up and the way the world's gone, the fact that the only thing cheaper today than before is clothing. Yeah, got to go to Narnia.
Thanks for listening to this quickie.
This episode was created by our superstar podcast team at TEDxLondon. Until next time,
Stay curious.